Comes as the Wall Street Journal reports that a Russian oligarch and Ukrainian peace negotiators may have been poisoned after meeting in early March. The attack is blamed on Russians who wanted to derail peace talks.
Joining us now is retired Air Force Special Ops Major Glenn Ignazio. Major, welcome. Thanks for joining us.
Good to be back with you, Jenna Mercedes.
So is a peace deal really possible? We have seen this poisoning report, and now we have Mariupol's deputy mayor saying that up to 40,000 Ukrainians are being forced into slave labor in Russia. Your thoughts?
Yes, I believe that the peace initiative is definitely the best thing to do, and having somebody like Turkey mediate that, where they've got relations between the two, is the best. Now, the interesting part is what are going to be the terms of that. The idea of not being a member of NATO, that's pretty much accepted and can be done. But the issue is what Russia has occupied, is that what they're going to say is now part of Russia. That includes a lot of the oil reserves and the many parts of the pipeline. So what are the terms and conditions going to be are definitely critical. If they go to a ceasefire, there has to be a ceasefire with conditions as well, because a lot of times a simple ceasefire means that everybody's going to regroup, and then possibly press on again. So each one of these things have to have clear identified objectives, and they have to have stepping stones after that of what's going to happen. Make sure that they're both working towards the right direction.
So, Major, Florida Senator Marco Rubio, he has a prediction that the likeliest thing Putin will do is try to use chemical or biological weapons in a way that makes it look like somebody else did it. And President Biden once again addressed how the U.S. would respond if Russia were to use such weapons. Let's take a listen to that.
It will trigger a significant response.
What does that mean?
I'm not going to tell you. Why would I tell you? You got to be silly.
The world wants to know?
The world wants to know a lot of things. I'm not telling them what the response would be. Then Russia knows the response.
So last week, the White House was forced to walk back when Biden made similar comments. I mean, what do you think's going on? Does he not care, or does he not remember?
Well, I definitely have to say, I don't know if he realized what he's saying. I mean, when I listened to him and his walk back on this, he's saying, no, that's not what I need. Now, if you're an English speaker and you may be in America, you might understand some of that. But you have to think that this is what is going to be heard around the world. This is what's going to be heard within Russia. And then, the information warfare is brilliant with Putin. He just has to take the soundbite that Putin's going to be removed from power. And Putin's always been saying is, hey, I feel like Russia's going to be taken over or destroyed by NATO and America. So these are used for his benefit, and those are what's really dangerous. So if you have a mention of, hey, troops, you're going to see what's going on in Ukraine, which basically he said people standing in front of dead tanks. That doesn't happen in Poland. That's in Ukraine. And then 24 hours later, he says, hey, about regime change. He's the president of the United States. You can't make your emotional, personal comments. We can't in office, even in the military. He knows this. And it's the ramifications around the world in other countries that he has to think about. Not what we think about in the United States, but those that are sitting in control of Russia.
Right. Right. Well, over the weekend, Russia bombed the city of Lviv in western Ukraine. Just a few minutes before, President Biden took the podium in Poland. Newsmax's Eric Bolling spoke to award-winning journalist Greta Van Susteren, who is in Krakow, Poland. She explained what the people of the city thought of that attack. Take a listen.
The people here think that was meant to be a sign to the president, because so far Lviv is quite distant from Kyiv, where most of the fighting has been going on, or even farther east, where a lot of the fighting has been going on. But most Ukrainians that I spoke to thought this was a message to President Biden.
Let me get your thoughts, Major. We've got about 30 seconds.
Sure. The geographic location of Lviv being into the far west, only 30 miles from the Polish border, absolutely sending a message that we have that reach. They did that about a week or so ago with hypersonic weapons, saying we have that reach. I think it was just a tactic to say, hey, we have that capability. And Lviv is also the center of the humanitarian operations and support going into Ukraine. So I believe it was one of those, let's give a little shock value to the president at that particular time. And they showed it.
Well, Major Glenn Ignazio, always great to have you here. Thanks for being with us tonight.
Nice to see you again tonight. Take care.